Good day, everyone. This is the report of Group 1 about human trafficking. Position: human trafficking should be stopped in the Philippines as well as globally due to its severe impact on individuals and society. Because human trafficking is a global problem and one of the world's most shameful crimes, affecting the lives of millions of people around the world and robbing them of their own dignity. Traffickers deceive women, men, and children from all concern of the world and force them into exploitative situation every day. Based on the data we gathered, human trafficking is the second largest criminal enterprise in the world after narcotics. In Asia's Western Pacific, human trafficking in the Philippines is a considerable concern. It has one of the largest victim population in the world with an estimated 784,000 people living as the modern day slaves. The Philippines is currently ranked as a Tier 1 country by the U.S. Department of State, meaning that it fully meets the minimum standard for the elimination of trafficking. This status recognizes the huge and ongoing progress made in the fight against human trafficking in the Philippines. However, as the figures show, it remains a significant problem. And also, according to the U.S. Department of State, the Philippines is a major source of both sex and labor trafficking, with one of the largest migrant populations in the world. Male Filipino migrant workers are typically exploited in the fishing, shipping, construction, manufacturing, and agricultural sectors, while the females are exploited in domestic and hospitality roles. Children of both genders are subject to sex and labor traffickings, many of whom have been sold by family members. There is an emphasis on tight-knit family units in the Philippines, which can mean that children are unlikely to speak out when they are abused or exploited by someone in their family. Human trafficking, also known as trafficking in persons, is a crime that involves compelling or coercing a person to provide labor or services or to engage in commercial sex acts. Human trafficking is a grave and pressing issue that affects millions of people worldwide, and it's crucial to raise awareness and understanding about this problem. These are the commonly causes of human trafficking. We have weakness, unemployment, displacement, broken family, and poverty. And now, let's dive to it.
First is the weakness. Traffickers prey on other weakness, unfortunate circumstances, unfamiliarity, and experience. Traffickers are trained to identify vulnerability and use expert manipulation tactics to persuade and control their victims. They either will avoid and opt to feel it.
Number 2. Unemployment. Traffickers target unemployed individuals and often use deception to persuade them to leave home and take a job in another city or country. The position may initially sound promising, but once the individual arrives at the destination, it is often much different than was described. To keep them from leaving, traffickers may confiscate their victims' passports or IDs. They may also pay for transportation, shelter, clothing, or food, so their victims are indebted to them and feel obligated to work.
Third is the displacement. War, political instability, and natural disaster can displace individuals or entire families. When people are forced to flee their homes and communities, they can experience financial hardship, loneliness, and culture shock. Children who have lost their parents, for example, are easy to target for traffickers. Without a safe place to call home or guardian to provide for and protect them, these children become vulnerable to abuse, unfair treatment, and trafficking.
Number 4, broken families. Individuals who are cast out of their homes, abandoned, or placed into the child welfare system are highly vulnerable to human trafficking. Runaways, youth experiencing homelessness, and those who live in isolation are often targeted. When someone feels alone or unloved or has been abused in the past, they may be willing to take great risks. They may feel as though they have little to lose or may even find comfort living with their trafficker. Some traffickers offer love and acceptance to lure individuals to work for them.
Poverty. When someone living in poverty, such as a widow or single mother who struggles to provide for her children, is desperate to meet a basic need, she is in a vulnerable position. A trafficker familiar with this scenario might offer her a job that enables her to feed her children. If it is appears to be her only option, she may accept and be willing to whatever the trafficker asks for her.
What are the effects of human trafficking in our daily lives? These are the commonly effects of human trafficking in our daily lives. First, lack of independent living skills. Second, physical trauma. Third, cheap labor. And fourth, mental trauma.
First is the lack of independent living skills. Many victims who escape a trafficking situation lack advanced education and resources needed to live independently. They may not understand the law in the country where they now reside or may not speak language. They may have been trafficked at a young age where unable to attend a school or go to college. After being confined to the same job for a long period of time and not being allowed to learn new skills, victims can become independent. When that time comes, they may have a hard time living on their own.
Number 2, physical trauma. Many victims also experience physical injuries. Those who have been sexually exploited are often abused by their traffickers and customers. They may be raped, beaten, and subjected to abuse over a long period of time. There is also a higher risk of contracting sexually transmitted diseases, infections, diabetes, cancer, and other illnesses. A lack of proper medical care allows these conditions to spread and worsen, often affecting an individual's health permanently. Victims of forced labor may work in dangerous conditions for long hours doing repetitive tasks. They may also be exposed to dangerous contaminants or work with heavy equipment. As a result, many are subjected to serious infections, respiratory problems, injuries, impairments, and exhaustion.
Number 3. Cheap labor. Traffickers use deception to attract employees to work for them. They may promise a safe working environment and fair pay. In reality, employees are often forced to work long hard hours for little or no pay. By using threats or violence, employers can convince their employees to continue working for them and to keep quiet.
Part is the mental trauma. Victims of human trafficking experience devastating psychological effects during and after their trafficking experience. Many survivors may end up experience post-traumatic stress, difficulty in relationship, depression, memory loss, anxiety, fear, guilt, shame, and other severe forms of mental trauma.
Who are the victims of human trafficking? Men, women, and children are exploited from rural communities, conflict and disaster zones, and impoverished urban areas. The most at risk population are indigenous persons, internally displaced persons, women, and children. The Philippines is one of the largest known sources of online sexual exploitation of children, and it's estimated that of the 50,000 Filipino children employed as domestic workers in the Philippines, almost 5,000 are under 15 years old. In total, estimated say that between 60,000 and 100,000 Filipino children are impacted by labor trafficking or sex trafficking.
Here are the best alternative solutions to stop human trafficking. We have become a mentor. Second, report suspicious. Third, help survivors. Fourth, raise awareness. And lastly, target demand. Become a mentor to a young person or someone in need. Traffickers often target people who are going through a difficult time or who lack strong support system. As a mentor, you can be involved in a new, positive experience in that person's life during a formative time. Report suspicious. It is important to know the resources available. When traveling abroad, it is beneficial to look up the emergency phone number of the given country to enable quick reports should a trafficker victims be spotted.
Third, help survivors. Help survivors. Donate clothes and other goods to shelter for victims of human trafficking. Also, encourage business to give jobs to survivors, helping them to get back on their feet and get fresh start. If applicable, offering legal advice to survivors allows them an opportunity to not only move forward but to gain justice. Helping survivors and contributing to their recovery stops the cycle of trauma, and it tracks and ensures it won't repeat itself.
Raise awareness. Education and awareness campaigns are crucial to inform people about the risks of human trafficking, its signs, and how to prevent it. This includes both potential victims and the general public. And lastly, target demand. Focus on reducing the demand for trafficked persons. This includes addressing the factors that drive demand, such as illegal labor practices, sexual tourism, and demand for cheap goods services. In conclusion, human trafficking must stop because it's a gross violation of our people's basic rights. It's like a dark stain on our humanity where individuals are treated like commodities. We need to join forces, spread awareness, and take action to break this cycle of exploitation. By tackling the root causes, supporting victims, and working together internationally, we can create a world where everyone is free from the horrors of human trafficking. It's not just like a moral duty, it's a shared responsibility to protect each other and build a future without this terrible injustice. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.